All right, good. I'm Kendra Ramirez, and I am the co-host with Helen Todd here. Welcome to Cincy AI. We are super pumped for you. We warned you that this would be standing room only, and we weren't kidding, were we? Right? So thank you guys so much for spending time out of your crazy, crazy busy schedule to see what we're building here. Half of the room are AI builders. They're building incredible things. Half of the room are people and businesses trying to figure out AI, and we're building amazing partnerships. We're building amazing job opportunities. And so I'd love to be able to see this community thrive. So thank you so much for being with us today. And thank you to UC. We could not do this without their partnership to be able to host it in this beautiful building, and the amazing AI research and AI lab are right here, and you're going to get to hear from Dr. Kelly Cohen today. He has over 30 years experience in AI. Yes, for some of you, AI actually has been around way longer than that. I know some of us are like, oh, it's not been around that long. It actually has. So thank you so much for being here today. And I'm just going to hand this off, and we're going to go through the flow, all the things we're going to cover, and we'll get you guys kicked off.
We'll start. We tried this last month, but ran into technical issues. We're starting off with a special message today from, well, you'll hear.
Hello and welcome to February's CincyAI Meetup. It's my honor to be here, especially because I am not human. I'm an ethically created AI clone of Helen Todd, who is the first resident of Cincinnati to clone herself with a hyper-realistic avatar. She's one of your co-hosts today, alongside Kendra Ramirez. Did you know that the digital avatar market is projected to be $270 billion by 2030. Custom synthetic avatars like me are part of this market. This is no surprise since we can do things humans can't do. For example, Helen only speaks one language while I speak 28 languages. Avatars like me are used for saving costs and streamlining video production for online courses, social media and email marketing content, customer service messaging, and more. Now for why you've gathered here at the amazing UC Digital Futures building. CincyAI quickly became the largest AI meetup in the region. If this is your first time attending or your fifth, welcome. And thank you for being part of this dynamic community where the whole is not just greater, but exponential in its impact. With that, I'll let my human counterpart take the mic. Enjoy.
It worked, which is always nice. And we actually have Julie in the audience who also got cloned. The clone club within CincyAI is growing. But welcome. And Kendra already did a little bit of an introduction. We also, in addition to UC sponsoring this beautiful space, this wouldn't be possible without our other sponsors. This is a volunteer organization, and there are costs for the documentation and the food and drinks. So a big thank you to Seven Hills Technology and Big Kitty Labs. Big Kitty Labs came down from Columbus to be here, and will also be helping building out our website soon. So it takes a village, and we appreciate all of our sponsors. And if anyone is interested in sponsoring, talk to Kendra and I afterwards as well. So who's here? Raise your hand if you're AI curious. Oh, wow, welcome. Okay, if you're AI users, welcome. And AI builders. Okay, we have a really good mix. And one of the points of the CincyAI Meetup, where we're very inclusive and welcoming, is to connect all the dots. So if there's someone in your industry or sector or someone who you can mentor or learn from, this is the group. We've got an amazing knowledge base right here in our community. And out of curiosity, raise your hand if this is your first CincyAI Meetup. Oh, wow, we have a lot of new people. Thank you. Second CincyAI Meetup. Our repeats. Third. Fourth. And how many have been here all 5 times? This is our 5th one. Awesome. Well, thank you. Thank you. It's definitely a growing community. We'll be sharing the photos and videos afterwards. I think I keep screwing up the share link within the Dropbox, so I will figure that out so you can access the photos and share them. It's word of mouth and Eventbrite, meetup.com, and just word of mouth that's getting this to grow. So the flow today, we're going to hear from Dr. Kelly Cohen. We're going to do our QuickBytes rounds, which is the community gets up and gives 3 minutes. And then we'll do Q&A that's open to everyone and shout outs. We do a group photo. This big of a group is going to be more chaotic than normal. But at the end, if you don't mind, everyone moving to this wall for a quick photo. And the less herding cats, the more brownie points everyone gets today. And then networking and collaborating. We've got snacks and water. And after today, we have a special happy hour co-hosted by Maker's Mark. Rob's in the back. He might speak to it. It's all about AI and cocktails and creators. And that's at 5:30 at the 1819 building across the street. And I'll have a QR code if you didn't sign up for it. So since there are so many new people here, there's an entire robust, great AI ecosystem here in Cincinnati and in the region. We've got friends from Columbus. We've had someone from Indianapolis. We've had someone drive down from Cleveland. So when I say the energy and the excitement in Cincinnati is vibrant, it's here and reflected in this community, but we're a piece of the overarching ecosystem. At the UC Digital Futures building, Kendra mentioned Dr. Kelly Cohen's like 30 years in research. This building is a multidisciplinary building. They have everything from a biotech to drone lab and extended reality. So we're in a building where so much exciting research at the forefront of responsible AI and just everything at the future of tech. So we're very lucky to be here and a part of this community. And so we have the academic side, we have the community arm, and then we'll also hear from Pete Blackshaw today about the Cincinnati AI Catalyst, which is really the startup arm. And there's a dedicated group about responsible AI that we're very happy to be part of. And really, we want to lift the entire region when it comes to community involvement, startup funding, VCs, big companies. And we're just one of the dots helping connect people as part of this ecosystem in the region. And responsible AI, we say this every meetup, but we haven't actually defined it. So this definition came from Dr. Kelly Cohen as well. So I just want to read it so we just level set that we're all on the same page. And we have some amazing speakers today, and one will talk about governance, which I know is a hot and ever-changing topic as well when we talk about AI. But I won't read this entire thing, but at the fundamental, it's about transparency, fairness, equity, accountability, robustness, privacy, and sustainability, so that AI acts as intended, fosters moral values, and enables human accountability and understanding. And there's so many people in the Cincinnati region that want to make sure that AI works for everyone and uplifts the entire community. And there's so many amazing ways that we can do that. Until we have a website, this is kind of our online hub right now. I know we have a few crashers here today. If you haven't registered, if you've registered, you automatically get on our list through Eventbrite. If you didn't register and you want to get on our emails, go to CincyAI.beehive.com and you can sign up. And we do recaps with the photos. You'll hear some things today and videos that we'll share out afterwards. So this is the hub for that. Upcoming events, happy hour today. It's also sold out, but if you use this QR code, you can get in and you can walk across the street at the 1819 building. And because we do have so many AI curious and beginners, at our next one on March 5th, Kendra is offering up a 101 training. If you get here at 2:30 and you're interested on like some very basics of like how to use ChatGPT and AI, that would be a great introduction. And Kendra, she didn't say this, but I think she did what, 54 talks on AI last year. And I got to see her talk this past Friday. So any beginners, I definitely encourage you to come a little early next time for a very safe space for one-on-one training. And then the Goring Center, March 21st, that's a breakfast. Tom, who's here, will speak about AMA Ignite. That's a conference, marketing conference, AI plus customer service, April 19th. The AI Rising Conference, May 14th and 15th. Midwest Con will be September 5th and 6th. And MayCon, which is out of Cleveland, is September 10th and 12th. And the head of marketing is going to join us at one of our meetings this coming summer. If you have other events that aren't on here that you think the community would like to know about, feel free to put it in our LinkedIn group, email us, we can put it in our newsletter. Again, we're about making this a community event, so if there's any events that you are interested in or hosting and want to share, just let us know. Okay, so I will stop talking and we'll start doing the quick bites. And actually, we're going to have a special quick bite to begin with. But these are quick sessions to ask a question to the community, share an AI tip or tool, or share what you're building. And it's always wonderful to hear because it's such a variety of talent and ideas that we have right here in our back door in Cincinnati. But first, before we pull everyone up, we have a special start for people on our email list and LinkedIn group. We asked everyone to vote for some student projects on AI. So Dr. Kelly Cohen, I'll let him explain some student projects about responsible AI.
Hello, everyone. I'm all happy to have you here, especially my students who are joining us for the first time. So I teach a class in AI. Very often our classes in engineering is all about, hey, do this and write this algorithm and do that. But I decided to have a change. Start with what is responsible AI. And so while I can do a lot of talking, as you can know it, I wanted my students to think of what is responsible AI. So I had a student competition. Come up with a 3 to 4 minute video. What is responsible AI? 21 submissions. We picked the top 6 thanks to Palak Shah. Stand up. Give a round of applause. Thanks, Palak. So Palak helped choose the top 6. We submitted the top 6 to Helen and Kendra. They had you vote for the top 6. And now we have a winner. And I'm going to announce Kenny Sloan. Please come up to the stage and give each other a round of applause. And we've got to take a picture. Oh, yeah. Right in front of the desk. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. It's mine. Okay, we want to watch this video? Okay. So while we're going to share the video with the newsletter, I want you to take a look at a little bit of what was the number one.
Becomes more and more advanced. Imagine what the world is going to look like in the not so distant future. Maybe AI has automated so much that humans have been reduced to chair-ridden blobs, incapable of thinking for themselves, performing basic human tasks, and allowing AI to dictate every aspect of their lives. Wait, isn't that just the plot of WALL-E? AI sentience, mass chaos, robot revolution, man versus machine.
Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
You get the picture. AI has the potential to be really, really bad. If we consider AI to be the art and science of making computers behave like they do in the movies, then how can we be sure that we avoid all of the countless ones where AI causes the end of the world as we know it? That, my friend, is where responsible AI comes in. Responsible AI is not just one idea, but rather refers to several key principles related to the ethical creation, release, and use of AI systems. It ensures these systems act as intended and minimizes any potential harm. Let's look at each key principle and discuss what it is and why it matters. First, reliability. AI systems need to be reliable, robust, and safe. They need to work as intended, returning the desired response every single time. Many modern systems today are incredibly unreliable, returning incorrect results which have fatal consequences. For example, there have been hundreds of Tesla autopilot-related crashes since 2019, and far too many fatalities. The second key principle of responsible AI is transparency. Most AI models today, like ChatGPT, are not transparent. Rather, they're like black boxes. We don't really know where their responses come from. This can cause the AI to return errored responses, or even entirely make up responses, which are known as hallucinations. An example of a hallucination occurred in June of 2023 when lawyers were sanctioned after they argued a false precedent from an entirely made-up court case generated by ChatGPT. In order to trust AI systems and to troubleshoot when something goes wrong, we need to be able to verify that all of the steps between source and response are correct by understanding the processes of the decision-making, the algorithms, the data sources, and biases within the system. Third is privacy. AI is incredibly efficient when it comes to data processing, and therefore AI needs to be designed with people's privacy in mind. Additionally, these systems need to be able to protect against hackers and other malicious AIs seeking to steal private data. Lastly, all data used for an AI should be obtained ethically to avoid plagiarism. Fourth, responsible AI systems are accountable. AI systems and their creators need to be held accountable. Doing so is vital to the success and trustworthiness of AI. These systems need to be held to high standards and undergo extensive testing to ensure trust between user, AI, and developer. Finally, fairness. When creating an AI, a designer needs to consider biases existing in a dataset and account for them. Such biases can lead to improper function of the system. This was the case for a facial recognition AI, which was trained on mostly light-skinned people, causing it to poorly identify darker-skinned faces. So why bother? Why does any of this even matter? Because ultimately, it is not just you and I that's going to be affected by this, every future generation as well. There are almost limitless ways that AI can improve our lives, but for each one, there are multiple ways it could harm us. We as a society are currently at a crossroads. One path is the path of science fiction, a world where irresponsible AI is unregulated. People are put in harm's way, data is stolen, blah blah blah, end of the world, not great. Alternatively, we can choose responsible AI and ensure that future generations benefit from the wonderful advancements brought to you by reliable, transparent, private, accountable, and fair AI systems.
A big applause, Kenny Sloan. Before handing off the mic, I want you to know that there are my students who are studying AI with me. Awesome students. If you encounter them, please engage, and perhaps you'll be lucky enough to hire one of them. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And congratulations again. Okay, so now we're going to start our QuickBytes round. We'll keep it as close to 3 minutes as possible, and we're going to start with Ford. I think I saw Ford earlier. Oh, he could not be here. Okay, moving on down. Terry Campbell, which I'm super excited. I got to hear Terry speak, what was it, last August? I don't even remember. It's been a while. Go ahead, come on up. Okay, the mic is yours.
All right, making me go first. My name is Terry Campbell. I'm a food photographer and director based here in Cincinnati. And I wanted to offer a photographer's perspective on AI because every week I'm approached by friends and colleagues who are super concerned about what it means to be a commercial photographer in the world of AI. And for me, I just feel like I've seen this movie before. I know how it ends. You know, I've been in this business doing it for more than 3 decades. About 20 years ago, we transitioned from film to digital. And I remember then the angst and the concern in the community because now we have to buy these expensive cameras. We have to learn this new software. We can't charge for film or Polaroid anymore. How are we going to make this work? Are our clients just going to buy cameras and take our jobs? 20 years later, everyone has a camera in their pocket that's almost as good as mine. And everyone's a photographer. Being a photographer has no sway anymore because everyone does it. You would think we should have just packed up and moved to the islands by now. That's the same way I see AI. It's a tool. It's something to be learned, something we can offer more value to our clients, something we can adapt to. I'm using AI to create backgrounds that just 2 years ago would have been impossible. I can save on the building of the set and the creation of stuff. I can offer so much more. I can use it for inspiration, for ideas for lighting, for sets, for color palettes. I can do artwork and merge it with my work, which I could never do before because I didn't have that talent. So the AI to me has just opened up this limitless world of possibilities. It feels like I'm 16 again when I got my very first camera and I didn't know what I didn't know and I couldn't wait to explore and see what this new tool could do. So for me, I'm leaning into AI as hard as I can because I've seen this movie before and I know how it ends. Thank you.
Thank you, Terry. Terry also does food photography and food AI images. So we'll have you link in our LinkedIn group. It's very worth checking out. Okay, now super excited. Pete Blackshaw is next to talk to us about Catalyst.
Thanks. First off, so impressed with what you've built here. This is fantastic. And I'm a big fan of organic movements. They just happen in spite of a strategy. And I think that's where this region's really going to shine. So I speak to you through a few lenses. I'm an entrepreneur who just announced I'm leaving my job in a couple of weeks to do an AI startup. It's kind of a little bit of a scary move, but like a lot of you, I feel like we're at this really unique moment that we probably won't experience again. And what I love about this group is that it builds a lot of confidence because, you know, there's a lot of others that kind of share the passion. They could become your teammates. They could become your funders or investors. So this is a great time. And if you take the plunge yourself, we're going to support you for sure. I think what Kelly was getting into is so critically important. What I've been obsessed with since I took the helm of Centrifuge 5 years ago is where, you know, what are the areas where a concentration of talent, technology, and capital can we create an outsized advantage? What's our identity? Pittsburgh's always been strong in AI, Memphis and Nashville in health tech, Detroit's kind of pioneering future of mobility. Austin's got a couple specialties, but what's ours? We know health is one of them. We pushed sustainability really hard. That's actually gone a lot slower than I had expected. But the area within AI that I actually think we can own and shine a light for others to look at as kind of a beacon on how it can be done is responsible AI. We have incredible consumer foundations. We've got the world's biggest advertiser, the world's third largest retailer that's now becoming a data company, and a whole consumer ecosystem of researchers that wrap around it in these great universities. And so why can't we leverage that human consumer foundation to really create an advantage? So I was so inspired by, at our annual meeting, we invited Yael Cosette, the CIO of Kroger, and the CDO, who is just, I give them a lot of credit for getting out there in the industry and talking publicly about responsible AI. They're talking it internally within their executives and externally. So we had a roundtable discussion about it, and we were so inspired, we decided the next day to literally get a group together to ask ourselves, could we do something bigger? And so we created this group, AI Catalyst, with a gentleman named Carl Frake, who some of you have heard from here, really deserves a lot of the credit, but we got quite a few folks from the universities. I think really generous representation from the universities. Kelly, of course, he couldn't do it without Kelly, but Miami, NKU, the head of informatics, quite a few from Xavier. They're really passionate about it. I think they see that as kind of central to their Jesuit ethics foundation, and then quite a few fantastic startup leaders. And what we've been doing is trying to figure out where there might be some opportunities for some of you or others to grab the startup opportunities. We've broken it out into a number of areas. Credentialing, for example, that's one that a lot of us are thinking about. There probably will be a lot of startups that decide to put good quality seals on websites, so we know that it's not the equivalent of slave labor behind that site that we're giving our loyalty to. You know, no different than what you see with the environmental movement. But we think there's a lot of spaces of play, and we've identified it, and I won't get into all the detail, but there's a lot of energy for it, because I think the big victory building on this success, this incredible, is to kind of sustain it through real value creation in the form of startups. And what we've tried to do so hard at Centrifuge, actually the whole ecosystem, is provide a support infrastructure, access to capital, whether it's here or outside, and it's there. And this is the moment to kind of jump in. There's another part of it that some of you are already in. I think I heard Kendra did a fantastic training with the chamber this week, but we're also trying to figure out the job skilling part. This is going to be really tricky. It's less tricky for us as entrepreneurs because we don't have employees, so all of a sudden you got a workforce in your pocket, right?
At the upper levels, we know it's going to be tricky with a lot of the white collar jobs, and how do we very quickly reskill the population in this area? And one area we've been putting a lot of attention on at Centrifuge, especially my colleague Maurice Copy, is like, minority small businesses. Like, how do we almost treat AI as the great equalizer? Everybody kind of gets to the same starting point using these tools that are readily available. We know that access to capital is a huge barrier, but AI could be part of the solution. That's something we're approaching, but we've got to reskill the workforce. Just had breakfast with the CEO of Jobs Ohio. They're getting that memo because everything's about building the jobs, but this is kind of a complicated area. So we're doing a lot of good work. It's a relatively small group. But if any of you are really passionate about it, let us know. But we're going to be funneling the great thinking and the business model ideas over to this shop, hoping that some of you will double click on it and run with it, because we want to be the unmistakable leader in the country in responsible AI, and we absolutely can do it. I have been so surprised at what's under the hood at UC and the other universities, and there's just like a lot of entrepreneurs that have been doing this that we can kind of retrofit in this area. So thanks for letting me speak.
Can you hear me now? Okay. Hey everybody, I joined much like Pete. I joined the AI journey from cybersecurity world last month, and so the community has already been a big help to me. Mike Bell, John Salisbury, others. So I decided I'd give back. I lead sales for an AI governance software. And as a result, I spend a lot of time researching emerging regulations. And while many of this may not touch you, I felt like, I've got my ear to the rail. I'll share what I'm hearing, because knowing where the winds are blowing may help you understand what might affect you a year from now, 6 months. So some of the things that I've seen, obviously, for those of you who probably didn't see the press last week, the EU green-lighted the final language for the AI Act. It's very comprehensive. Talks about restrictions. It also sets guidelines for transparency, stress testing, and of course, fines for noncompliance. As we break it into the US, I don't expect seeing the federal government pass anything, any legislation like that. So you're probably gonna see something more from an agency side. The National Association of Insurance Commissioners has probably been the most active. They've been passing regulations to make sure that, or setting models, guidance models, to ensure that underwriting and pricing takes away bias and promotes fair decision making. We're seeing that in some of the states. Colorado passed legislation in December that's set framework for how underwriting and pricing, leveraging automated systems and external consumer data. It's ECDIS. I can't remember all the acronyms. You're also seeing some of that. Well, actually, the New York followed suit with an extensive 65-point guidance pulling from insurance laws. And so what you may see is agencies and states pulling from existing data laws where AI systems are pulling training data from. We're also seeing some movement in mortgage as well in banking. Banking actually just went back to NIST and their framework and asked them to take considerations around generative AI. Lastly, here in Ohio hasn't done much, but they are one of about 11 states that are asking for guidance on K through 12 use of AI. I think it's one to ensure there's no misuse by students. Looking at you guys. And also how they can better leverage it in their educational process. And lastly, if you're interested in learning more about AI regulations, we're doing a webinar. Next week, we've got a lawyer from FKKS who will talk about emerging US regulations, and a lawyer from Osborne Clark over in Belgium who will be talking about emerging regulations in the EU. And then we're doing a panel conversation. I've got a nice QR code. Swing by, see me, scan it. It'll send you the registration page. I've already sent it to Helen. She'll put it up on the page. That's all. Thank you.
Kendra's going to help me troubleshoot this. I think one other big regulatory thing, sometimes we also do what's happened in the news since our last AI meetup, since everything changes with flash speed. I think two big items, the Taylor Swift deepfake issue, especially with the Super Bowl this Sunday, Valentine's Day around the corner. And we saw the Defiance Act as well. It was a good start, but definitely not enough. And then another thing that I didn't think about as much press as it should have was Neuralink did their first human surgery of inserting a chip into a human's mind. And then yeah, it was a very historic moment as far as yes, transhumanism and the future of our species. And our next speaker is Julie. You can go ahead and come up. Alicia's not here. I don't have the mic working. Julie is a repeat CincyAI member and also digitally cloned as well. And if you're interested in getting digitally cloned, let me know because I can clone you. Testing. Oh yeah, here it goes. Okay, there you go.
Hi, it's nice to see everyone. I did share last time, and I'm repeating a bit since there are a lot of new people. My name is Julie. I own a company called Brave Writer. It was a startup back in January of 2000, so coming up on 25 years. And I'm in the field of education. And the big concern I have about AI, especially responsible AI, is how it can be used with students in a way that advances and enhances their desire to learn and what they're learning, as opposed to being a substitute for getting a good grade. But it feels to me like the education model that we have currently is on the verge of collapse in the face of a large language model like ChatGPT or these other systems that are coming. Because just think for a moment with me, if you need to like maintain a scholarship based on your GPA level, and you are faced with a decision between a class in your major that you care about and a general ed class you don't care about, submitting a paper that you feel will get you the grade that you need, that you could generate easily, is actually the smart strategic thing to do, because kids can't care about everything equally. But the problem is we end up creating these barriers by punishing them, by treating their legitimate practices as somehow illegitimate or that they are being nefarious. In my company, we teach writing to homeschool families. We do not do grades. And we have a rule, and this is pre-AI issues, that if a student plagiarizes, it's not because they're a bad person. It's because either they could not imagine another way to say it, and this other person did it in a way that expressed what they were trying to say, or they don't understand the material well enough to put it in their own language, or they ran out of time. They feel tired. They didn't want to. And it's actually understanding what's going on with the student that helps you teach them, not just punishing them. So in our program, whenever we have had a, quote, plagiarism issue, we start with curiosity. Now, we can do that because we are grade-free and we're working almost in a tutorial-style model. But as we're looking at the future of AI in education, I'm really hoping for a revolution. I had the honor of talking with Dr. Kelly Cohen on Friday for a couple of hours, and I just felt hopeful that we're doing things like what Kenny talked about, you know, developing a responsible and ethical model for use. But I'm also hoping that education will catch up, that we will actually look at the failure of a system of grades as the goal, as opposed to motivation for learning, and sort of reinventing what learning can be. I've written a couple of books. My first book was The Brave Learner. My second one is Raising Critical Thinkers. And all of my work is in that field, in that pedagogical field. And so I'm trying to understand AI now in light of those sort of questions about education. And then I did decide to do the avatar. I was very naive. I walked in, I saw an avatar, I thought everyone was doing it, and I ran straight up to Helen and said, I want to. She's like, yeah, you're the second one. I'm like, whoa, okay. So this is just the separate note about that experience. I have a very large following on Instagram. If you want to follow me, I'm Julie Brave Writer, and I put out to my audience of homeschoolers who are traditionally Luddites. They're a little suspicious of technology. And I kind of walked them through this whole avatar generation experience. And I had some people who are just truly against, terrified, worried, some that were eager and enthusiastic, but the overall attitude was kind of cautious, like fearful. And so part of what I'm trying to do in my space is just build education around what AI is. So I'm very grateful for this group, for everything I'm learning here, and I'm trying to pass it along. I do have a podcast as well, so if you're like the kind of person that should be on a podcast, let me know. I'm going to interview Dr. Cohen and share his ideas. So field of education, writing, and social media, those are my things. Thank you.
Thank you, Julie. And John Keating. I don't know why this keeps going out for me. Hello?
I don't know if it works, but I'll hold it.
Okay.
Okay. I don't know if it really works, but my name's John Keating. I'm an executive at Binomics, which is a startup. And I'll tell you a little bit about what we do with the story. So if you want to get a box of cereal, you go into Kroger, you go to the cereal aisle, you see lots of options, you grab a box and you're out. So you make it really easy. But the CPG companies that make all that cereal, they spend millions of dollars trying to figure out what you just did in an instant. And it's a complex problem. So what they did is they actually broke it down. They said, this is too complex for any one person or one team. So we'll have one team that's in charge of setting the price. And so they do all these studies. They look at the competitors, they do surveys, they may even do conjoint studies. They spend lots of money trying to figure out what's the right price. But there's a whole separate team that figures out what's the format, what are the sizes. Like we should have a cereal for people on the go. And what about the person who's gonna feed the soccer team that morning? We need the mega size, that we'll put in Walmart. And so they have a separate team that does that. And then there's a whole nother team called the trade promotion group. And what they do is they work with all the retailers on, what kind of coupons should we have? Or should we have BOGO? Or, what sort of promotion should we run? But we don't really need to do that anymore because now we have a new type of power. So what we're able to do is take all that shopper data, all that information. It's all available, Nielsen, Circana, all these 8451 down here with all the Kroger data. All that information is available. We can run that through machine learning, and we can create virtual shoppers, virtual you, right? And each one of those virtual shoppers has different preferences. They might prefer Lucky Charms versus Cheerios. They might prefer a bigger box or smaller box. They might have different price sensitivities. And with all these virtual shoppers, we create a simulation. And then with the simulation, we're able to try again and again. What happens if we decrease the price by 25%? Or what happens if there's a new product on the market? What happens if we do run a promotion? Who buys our products and who buys competitor products? So companies now can use machine learning, and this is the tool that we produce, this simulation, to save millions of dollars, but also have a lot more accurate data. And the best part about all this, it's not bullshit. Like we actually do this. Like we work with Danone, we work with L'Oreal, we work with Nestle, and it actually works. It's saving them money, and it really is providing value.
Thank you. Okay, Daniel.
Okay. So my name's David Johnson, and a couple of years ago, I experienced an adverse reaction to a sports supplement that nearly sent me into liver failure. After roughly a year of recovery, going through the whole process, the stress, the anxiety, I looked back on the experience. I had to shut down my startup at the time that was focused in clinical trials, just to focus on recovery, and was looking at what was the next thing that I was going to do. And as I look back, the second most stressful thing of the whole experience, outside of what I went through physically, was the healthcare bills that I had to manage that just came barreling in, no idea when they were going to arrive, and basically just trying to understand, how am I going to manage this while I'm trying to just focus on healing? So after recovering, I spoke with a lot of people that had similar situations of healthcare bills coming in. They're complex, they're confusing, and quite frankly, it's really not the priority that they want to be focusing on when they're trying to focus on healing. And so I started a company called UPTA, that stands for Out-of-Pocket Data. Our platform is designed to simplify the patient payment experience, allow patients and their families to simply understand what they owe, to whom they owe it, when they owe it, how much have they paid on it, and make it so that decision can be very easy. We can set up payment plans so they can go back to focusing on what's the most important thing for them, which is their family and healing. So what's this have to do with AI? We're focusing on the next steps here on how we integrate AI into our project, into our company, which will include things around education, information, so you can understand what your bill is telling you, are you being billed properly, as well as looking at the costs, how to set up payment plans, and how to allow you to be able to manage it very simply and trust what's in front of you, so that you can feel at peace and reduce that stress that comes with the bills and return back to focusing on how to get better and focus on your family and yourself. So that's what I've been working on, and we always love any feedback. So if anybody has any, please bring it.
Thank you. Okay, and next is Nashil. And he's coming down, so excellent. We got the mic working, yay. So just hold this up close to you. Okay, there you go, thank you.
Honestly, I'm just kind of nervous being here because I was going through the list of names and everyone seems to have their own company, and I just have like UC at the end of my name. So, but the reason I'm here is I hope to be there someday. So, and that's why I'm just trying to make new friends in the field of AI. Personally, I'm an AI builder. Some backstory regarding me. My name is Nishil. I'm actually an international student from India, and I came to UC as a math major, and I had nothing to do with computer science or remotely close to like AI. I didn't even know how machine learning works. I was just passionate about maths. And after 1 year, I figured out I wanted to do something related to programming, but I discovered machine learning back then. And machine learning was a whole bunch of math. When I went through a bunch of research papers, I was like, this is something that I might be interested in because it's a nice intersection of math and just computer science, or like math and programming, right? And that's why I actually like chose computer science as my major. And here I am, a 5th year now, almost about to graduate. So that's some of my backstory, and I like to call myself an AI builder because I'm always working on projects. This is not specifically a project that I'm working on right now, but I'm definitely thinking about it. I'm trying to build some kind of an e-commerce platform just for students, where students can just buy and sell stuff, which seems kind of basic, and everyone seems to be doing some kind or the other kind of e-commerce platform. But to just make the user's experience as easy as possible and to just reduce the number of steps between like going from like actually selecting a product to buy and then just putting an order. Maybe, it would be nice to just have a chat GPT like interface, or like just a chatbot where you can just search products on our platform and then you can just hit buy and it just takes care of everything for you. So that's one of my ideas that I would love to, that I've already been started working on, but I've not reached to the AI side of things. I also realized I was listening to everyone, and everyone is kind of trying to provide some kind of value to each other here. So how many of you think that Apple is not doing a great job at AI right now? Yes, yeah. A lot of people might share that opinion, but in case you don't know, Apple is trying to get back into the game like it always does with all the products. It's always late to the game, but it might be something of a game changer. Everyone has heard of frameworks like TensorFlow, PyTorch, or to just train neural networks. Apple just came out with their own framework called MLX, where you can train your own machine learning models. And the good thing about it is if you're using a MacBook, you can basically train those neural networks locally on your Apple Silicon. They also came out with something called ML Ferret, where it's basically an MLLM, which it's multimodal large language model, which is something like ChatGPT does a lot of stuff at the same time. It works as a vision transformer, which is just like taking in images, or maybe like a chat interface, but you can run that locally as well. And something for my AI curious people or my AI builder people here, or AI user people here, Facebook has something called the Code Llama Factory, where you can basically, they have created an interface where you can just click buttons and train your own AI model basically in a few minutes. And you can have like a good scalable models trained on the platform as well. So feel free to check it out, and I hope to see you guys soon after this event during the networking session. Yeah.
Thank you. We love when people share out tips like that. And out of curiosity, since you mentioned Apple, has anyone ordered the Apple Vision Pro? I know of like one person maybe. Where's Ben at? No one's ordered it. Or what about the Rabbit? Did anyone? Okay, we have a few people who pre-ordered the Rabbit. If you have it, I would love you guys to bring them to it so we could see it at the next meetup. Oh, yay! Oh, amazing! Okay, awesome. We have the Apple Vision Pro. It'll be really interesting to see how this kicks up the immersive space and metaverse conversations again. Okay, so I think the next few people aren't here. Jeff, yes, the stage is yours.
I'm going to have to put in my pocket so I can hold this and remember my notes.
Okay.
All right, there we go. Hey, everybody, how are you? I'm Jeff, and as it says up on the screen there, I've started something recently called Boomer Biz Academy. For those of you who didn't see me the last time, because I did speak the last time also, the brand story is starting to shape up on that. I'm moving into a product called Retire Smart AI. For those of you who asked for the 5 Keys to AI Content Creation book that I wrote last time, thank you very much. If you sent me some feedback, I got a lot of great feedback on that, so thank you. If any of you would like to read my brand story and give me some feedback on that and help me refine that, help me get that into really good shape, let me know. I'll be around. Tom Jones, yes, of course. All right, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. I got an idea that I floated past Rob Richardson a couple of weeks ago called the AI Poetry Slam. So if anybody would like to write AI poetry and be involved in an AI Poetry Slam, let me know. So the Maker's Mark thing that we're going to tonight, I kind of started that concept last year with Cocktails and Creatives. And we have one of our artists here, I know, Terry Campbell, who got up and spoke, is one of our artists. He competed last year. He's going to compete again this year. James, you here? Yeah, James back there in the back is one of my artists as well. What we do is we pair 7 bartenders with 7 AI artists. It is a audience participation competition. We'll have, pardon me. We'll sell about 200 tickets for that. I have 2 sponsors as well. Rob Richardson is going to be one of my sponsors. Kevin McGrew has agreed to be one of my sponsors as well. I have slots for a few more sponsors, and I really would like to get them from the AI community because we have AI artists there, and I'd like to be able to support those AI artists a little bit more by maybe having some sponsors for them. So if you'd be interested in getting your name out there, we do a lot of social media, we do a lot of advertising, we get on the TV like Fox 19 now, Channel 12 we got on last year as well. So if you'd like to be involved in any way, let me know. And on the Retire Smart AI, I'm trying to put together a course for that. I want to put together a 10-week group coaching program for that. If you'd be interested in hearing about that, talking about that, maybe getting involved, please come and see me for that as well. Other than that, let's see, do I have anybody else to thank in the room? Oh, yes, Matt, back there in the corner. He and I had a really good meeting last week. He and I sat down. Thanks for hosting that. He read through my brand story and gave me some good feedback on that as well. So if anybody'd like to give me a hand on any of that, and if there's anything you need from me, I've already spoken to a couple of people. Tom Jones, maybe I might be able to help out, do some stuff. Let me know. I am in this AI stuff for the long haul. So thank you all very much.
Thank you, Jeff. And we'll link to the PDF. It was in our last newsletter, which are all accessible online, and we'll be sure to include that in our upcoming one. And Rich, thanks for coming down.
Hi, everybody.
Sorry, got to get settled. Hi, my name is Rich Tile. I am the founder of a company called Product Forge. We're about 3 weeks into building, so we're just getting started. I've spent all of my career, 25 years, in the software building space, whatever that might mean. 12 years as CIO of an organization here in Cincinnati. The past 7 or 8 years, I've been doing agile coaching, which agile is like a methodology that software teams use to make software. It's like how we think about work and people and writing the software and that sort of stuff. And in all of my work, I've worked with tons of organizations. In all of my work with those organizations, no company that I've ever talked to has a backlog shorter than, say, 2 years worth of work. It's extraordinary the amount of backlog that people are staring at and they don't know what to do. It literally, like I did some of this, I'm sort of ashamed to admit, like literally have you avoiding conversations in the hallway, right? Like, oh, I don't want to talk to them because we're definitely not going to get that thing that they need or that they wanted. It's really, really painful. And so Product Forge is aiming to solve that problem. We're looking to take a couple of orders of magnitude out of the amount of time that it takes to make software, like literally reducing it by 99% is what we're targeting. It's going to be a journey to get there. We understand that journey. There's a bit of skating to where the puck is going to be with respect to like the software development pieces of that as an example. We see a value chain, if you will, that starts at this role called product manager. They're responsible for the product strategy, and it ends with them doing a bunch of work, and there's like 6 or 7 roles in between and a team of 20 people along the way, whatever it is, and then it comes out at the other end with some software developers making software. It's a huge amount of creative work in there, and we're extracting as much of that work as we can, and we're asking the AI to do that work for us. For the geeks in the room, that means product managers handing the creation of epics and features to generative AI. And for the developers, it means arming 1,000 agents to go off and write the code that it would have taken you 6 months to do, and doing that in the course of an evening, and then iterating on it again the next day. So these are the things that we're going after. It's what we're building. And I'd love to talk to you about it. We'd see a world where maybe one day every person in this room could be a developer. So that's where we're headed. Looking forward to the journey. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Rich. Is Jason here? There you are.
Thank you very much. Okay, this one. I am legally blind. That's a good segue. So I was the first blind graduate of the Master Design program at DAP, and got out into the working world, and it was brutal. Just the accessibility issues that blind people face every day trying to do their jobs are just overwhelming. And it wasn't just my experience. I knew a lot of other people that were suffering out there. So last year I decided to make this my job. I started interviewing other blind professionals and starting to write papers on it. My first paper is going to be In Steve We Trust, Why Blind People Love Apple Products and Why They're Not Using Them to Perform Work. But AI has really opened up a lot of things in this space. I think there's enormous potential for ethical AI. You can interact with it, using language and just talking to it rather than having to compute a function or see a graphical user interface. Interested in some future projects, actually interested in breaking apart one of those Rabbit devices and putting a haptic display on it so blind people can use it. But yeah, that's what I'm about. That's what I'm doing. And I hope to talk to you. I'm not great at seeing faces or name tags, but I do respond when you ask for mine.
Thank you. And another really interesting accessibility thing, CVG is actually sees itself as a laboratory to beta test things, and they actually have an avatar for the hard of hearing that does sign language. So AI can really be a great equalizer when it comes to accessibility as well. Sean.
How are you, Helen? It's good to see you.
You too.
We try.
Hold up, speak of that.
Hello, everyone. I had the chance to introduce myself, I think, was it December or I don't remember. I've been here 2 or 3 times. Yeah. Crowd has grown significantly. It's so great to see. So I'm a Cincinnati native. Spent the last 20 years in the air. I'm not exaggerating. 300,000 miles a year for the last 6 years. I've been leading go-to-market strategy, emerging market technologies for companies like SAP. Most recently spent the last couple of years in Mountain View, where I helped build a really fascinating AI business, Era Technology, which we're quickly moving to a liquidity event here soon. And that AI technology is built around decision intelligence, which is the next big wave in AI. We're all excited about ChatGPT and everything that's happening right now that impacts our life, but what will really impact business and what will really change the way we buy, we sell, and how we do business is going to be a really interesting journey over the next 9 to 12 months. The future of work, how that's going to change. Decision intelligence is the augmentation and automation of your decision making. Tribal knowledge within an organization will be captured and delivered differently. How the C-level makes a decision may not be directly related to any one individual. All of that data is leaving a trail and creating an opportunity for companies to change. So that's what I've been doing for the last couple of years. But I'm back. Just got down out of the air a month and a half ago, and now I'm consulting with small, fast companies that are looking for funding, partnerships with some of the companies that have established this new wave that we're all experiencing right now. I've been working with NVIDIA, Microsoft, AWS, SAP, and a handful of very tightly organized venture teams out west that are funding what this future looks like. So if you're interested in learning more about what I'm doing there, we can talk later. But there are a couple other things I wanted to talk about. So part of this last couple of years, a big part of my experience as an executive leader of this company, raising funds, I think we raised over 200 million, was aligning with influencers globally, academia, and authors, thought leaders, groups like McKinsey, Harvard, and soon more with UC, to better understand what these little changes and how they're going to impact how business operates. Because that's what I think a majority of everyone is really excited about, not just how this impacts ourselves and the cool headgear that we get to wear. That's very cool, by the way. I want to try that. But how is it going to really change the way companies buy and sell? That's going to be an interesting moment in time soon. So there are some new analysis that's come to me, and I have access to through McKinsey, Gartner, Forrester, and a number of others that I've been working closely with as we've been defining new categories for AI. I've been closely connected to them. So if you're interested in learning more about some of that new insight and how that impacts perhaps your industry or what your intentions are in this AI space, I see the 3 categories that we're all kind of sitting here in. But if you're interested in learning more about that, I can sync with you. The other really important thing that I wanted to share is that in likely the May timeframe, I'm going to be pulling together an AI summit, and I'm bringing that to Cincinnati with some of those that I've built a relationship with that I just highlighted, and others, authors, academia, some other venture and business leaders from some of those companies are very interested in what's happening in Cincinnati and what's happening in the Midwest.
This is exciting. All the great work that you've done here at UC, Pete, you've done with Centrifuse, a number of others. There you are. We go way back. But there's a lot of great interest in this momentum that you're all a part of. So hopefully you'll be able to join us. It'll be a workshop and there'll be a number of keynote presentations. We're still establishing it, but there's some sponsors that have interest and others that we're going to be hosting it. And everyone here will be invited, and I'm hoping that you want to learn more about that as we get closer to announcing it. So that's it. Thanks.
Thank you, Sean. And Ben is going to come up and close us out. And before I hand over the mic, Kendra and I sometimes forget to introduce ourselves. Kendra runs KD Digital and helps consults businesses on how they can simplify their systems with AI. If you need consulting with your company on how you can use AI in your systems, Kendra is your gal. And also, if you need someone to come and speak to your organization, she's got an awesome presentation. So definitely don't forget about your co-hosts. And why I mentioned that, so I have a podcast called Creativity Squared. It's at the intersection of AI and creativity. Ben has been on the show. 10% of all proceeds goes to ArtsWave, and we have a few ArtsWave artists here and a few people on the show. Janice, who oversees their diversity program, is also here. So we have this might be our biggest art community today between the artists and our creators things after that. And I just want to say I started season 2 last week with an AI artist. That's an amazing story. She grew up in poverty, and the day before the episode launched, dropped a collection and made $1.17 million in one day from her NFT art. Yes, I see some jaws dropping. So AI art and NFTs are not dead. It's a very exciting future on that front. And this week's episode has Cindy Gallup, and she has her answer of how to end deep fakes. So you have to tune in to hear that. But with that, Ben, who has been on my podcast twice now, I'll hand over the mic to him introduce what we're going to see.
Thank you, Helen. Yeah, twice, I think, both for AI art. So good segue there. Hi, everybody. My name is Ben Nash. Today, we're going to see a first minute and a half to 1:33 of a video I created this weekend. So if you want to see the rest, definitely follow me on social media. It's Ben Nash, at Ben Nash on all the platforms. It's my pinned tweet on X, so you can follow up there. Anyway, my background is in, first it was industrial design, product design, but most of my career has been a web developer, web designer. Back in the 90s while I was in university, I was really into animation. I really didn't do much animation for the past 20-some years, but through AI, I got back into it. The first time you might have seen me was at our first CincyAI Meetup, where I introduced a project I was working on back then where 50 AI artists recreated Terminator 2. We thought we'd be done in a month. It's still almost done. So that's coming out soon. But this weekend, we had a special event that's been every quarter now. And everybody's heard of ChatGPT, where you can type and get answers. Everybody's probably heard of Midjourney, where you can type and get images. Well, one of the big video platforms for AI video is called Runway. And Runway is a text to video and image to video platform. And they've been hosting a contest called Gen 48, where everybody has 48 hours to create a video, 1 to 4 minutes long. So that's what we're going to see now. It's just a minute. We're going to see a minute and a half of that. To see the rest, definitely follow me on social media. I used mostly Runway tools for this. So all the speech was generated with Runway's text to speech. All the video was generated with Runway Gen 2 is what it's called. The images were created with Midjourney first. So this is in a style of Pixar / a Disney movie. All right, thank you.
Lula, eat this. Lula, I think you want a treat? One for you and one for me. Okay, one for you and one for me. Now two for you. I think Lula is hungry. I love you so much, Lula.
Honey, don't feed Lula too much.
But Mom, she's hungry.
She's a big girl now. Remember when she was smaller?
Yes, she was so cute. Mom, did Grandma really rescue Lula from the jungle?
Yes, honey. Grandma really did rescue Lula from the jungle. You should call Grandma and have her tell you the whole story. Go on. Here's the phone.
Hello?
Hi, Grandma.
Hi, honey. How are you?
I'm good, Grandma. Did you really rescue Lula from the jungle?
Of course I did. Would you like to hear the whole story? I think you're old enough.
Yes, Grandma. I am old enough.
Geez, oh Pete's, where do I start? Oh yes, it all started 2 years ago. One night I was working late at home on my research when I got an urgent message from a friend. My friend told me the exact location of a puppy who was desperately in need of help, and so the adventure began.
And we will link to this in our newsletter that goes out. And when the T2 movie, our T2 remake comes out, we will be hosting a screening here in Cincinnati as well. But TBD on that deadline, when that's going to happen. Should we go straight into the photo or open the floor? How much time do we have left? Open one. Does anyone want to speak? We'll give 2 slots to people, or if okay, 2 slots. Tom and Jared, quick 3 minutes, and then we're going to do our group photo and brownie points for not having Kendra and I have to herd cats. Okay, Tom.
Great. I have to follow puppies. Many thanks to the folks here. I was not supposed to be here today, and through the changing of schedules and flexibility of Kendra and Helen, I am here. Lucky you. I'm going to share what I am building, and you've heard about this. We're going to talk about it this for the last time. The event. I wrote it down because AI is taking all my brain power, so I have to remember from paper. The American Marketing Association, #1 in the country, is presenting Ignite, the Customer Experience Conference. This is Friday, April 19th at the National Underground Railroad Freedom Center. The theme this year, keeping AI real in customer experience. So it's a single day, single track conference, no FOMO. This is a customer experience conference about AI, CX with AI, but it's still CX. And this is a call for your expertise. A call for speakers. This is the customer experience conference, but we're looking for speakers. So if you're out there and you know folks that have expertise in this area, I would love to talk to you. I'm not going to mention any names, Pete. I'm not going to mention any names, Dr. Cohen, Helen, Jeff. I'm not going to mention, Kenny Sloan. And I'm not going to say Kenny Sloan, especially not Kenny Sloan. We want you there, I think. So we're looking for thought leadership and content in these 5 areas in customer experience. Understanding AI in marketing, personalization in customer experience, AI in customer data analysis, ethical considerations in privacy and AI, and I would love to hear your case studies and success stories. Tom Jones, reach out to me during this meeting. Meet me afterwards. I would love to hear from you. I want to learn from you. Ignite, American Marketing Association Customer Experience Conference, April 19th. We want you to speak for us. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Okay, and Jared, you can close us out.
All right. I feel like the corniest MC ever. All right, I know I'm pushing it. I've spoken 4 times now. Got the eye roll. All right, so my name's Jared. I am the founder of Nines.gg. Nines is a quality of life platform for gamers, and I wanted to talk to you guys about experience. Now, I know experience is kind of a crappy buzzword, and people throw that around, but what that really means is that you care about the way your customers experience the world. It's not about what your product does, it's about how they interact with it, what it does for them. And so I know there was a lot of hands up for builders. Anyone here first time builders? Okay, awesome. My experience was I found myself on the wrong side of 30, over-leveraged in every aspect of my life, relegated to menial tasks like retail and food service. I dropped out of college. No one did that to me. That was my mistake. But I didn't realize it was going to kind of navigate the rest of my life. That happened in 2008, right after the housing market melted down. So I was competing with a lot of you smart people in this room that have masters and doctorates for entry-level jobs that needed 15 years of experience for $35,000. And yeah, I lived this really, really difficult experience where I was working 2 and 3 jobs, again, just to not pay rent. And then when I went home, what I was the best at in my own life, video games, didn't matter to anybody. Like, it didn't count for anything. And so my experience is basically trying to help people find validation. Like, we're building something that allows you to make money in video games, but that's not the product. The product is agency. The product is knowing what you're going to do with my platform and you having more options. The product is knowing that tomorrow could be better than today for you. So as a first-time builder in here, I wish someone would have told me, and it would save me a lot of time. Really dig deep on why you're doing what you're doing. Don't just make something cool because it's going to make money, or man, there's like a need for that. Really find meaning and know that what you're doing matters and is important, and treat it with care. Again, my name is Jared. I'm the founder of Nines.gg. Thank you.
Okay, and really quick before the starting line goes to our group photo, our next meeting is Tuesday, March 5th. RSVP, here's the QR code. Everyone who signed up or joined our email list, you'll get the photos and video of this. And then for our beginners, if you want to come in a little early at 2:30, we'll do the 101 training. And then after this is the 1819 happy hour and networking here before we leave. This is all in the newsletter for the LinkedIn group. Feel free to use this to promote your things. If you want stuff in the newsletter, just shoot that over to Kendra and I, and we can make sure to include it. And if you want to sign up for our newsletters, Kendra has probably the most robust roundup of AI events on her website and in her newsletter, and great tips. I think my one tip from my newsletter that I want to share is if you're using ChatGPT, even solo, I recommend upgrading to Teams with a minimum of 2 seats because it doesn't train the OpenAI models. I use the 2 team members just for me. So that's one tip. And that's our next meetup. If you want to be cloned, and Kendra's newsletter. Yes, we did that at the beginning. But yes, and thank you again to our sponsors, Seven Hills Technology and Big Kitty Labs. And if you are interested in sponsoring, I think a lot of people are looking for sponsors between all the different projects. So there's no shortage of projects to be sponsored, including CincyAI. Thank you. I know time is the most important resource. Thank you for spending some of your time with us this afternoon. And with that, I invite you to go to the wall for a photo.